Hello, hello.
Good morning, people. Now
Okay.
we're gonna have Pixel running the almighty ReCore, and it's in a special state right now. I'll let Pixel doing the explanations. We're running pre-DE. What is pre-DE?
Pre-DE stands for Pre-Definitive Edition. So basically, a few months ago, they've released the definitive edition of the game, which basically added the last boss missing from the final build that they shipped few years back, but also fixed a few bugs that we use in the any-person speedrun. So by running the older version, I'm able to just go through the game a bit faster, I guess.
All right, so pre-DE is pre-definitive edition.
Yep.
All right.
So, gonna count down. You all ready for the timer? So, 3, 2, 1, go.
So Pixel is going to be running, and he's
Yep,
going to be
on you.
skipping most of the cutscenes. So I'll be explaining a bit of the backstory of the main character, so you guys can understand a bit what's going on. So the planet Far Eden is going to be where our main character, Jewel Adams, is going to appear. She's one of the first volunteers for the utopian colony of Far Eden, who takes...
Okay, we're looking for a power source. It's the only way we're going to get our crawler back online.
There we
Do you
go.
have the scent map?
So Joel is being sent to investigate a planet
Yep. My
to gather
Excel frame is working
materials.
fine.
She's
Thrusters are
gonna wake from
recharging just like they should.
cryosleep to find that nothing has gone according to plan.
There. An opening at the top of the cliff. That's our way in. Scavenger core bites.
So she's gonna scavenge core bites. Core bites are gonna be,
Robot frames. Looks like the
AKA
scavenger
the
bots have
hearts
picked
of the
them
robots. Robots have gone maverick, so it's kind of the thematic like Mega Man.
An interesting fact about this
She's
game.
gonna have 3 robotic machines that are going to follow her through the run. So right now we've got our friend,
All right, let's make our way to the top. Lead the way,
what's his
Matt.
name again?
Mech.
Mac, exactly. He's gonna take the form of a dog.
Okay, well, one fun fact about this game is that the main director for this game is the same as the one from the Metroid Prime series. I cannot recall the exact name. I'm very bad with names. But yeah, so there's a lot of the design that's based off that.
The little guy must be around here somewhere.
So here, this game
go.
is a mix between a third-person action shooter and a 3D platformer with a few elements borrowed from collectathons such as Banjo-Kazooie or Super Mario series. So the main objective, I guess, for this game is to collect what they call prismatic cores, which is like the base source of energy on the planet, or the most powerful one. Whoops. Let's redo
Try
that.
again.
There we go. And with these cores, we're going to be able to open up doors to either dungeons or to further parts of the map.
Spider frames. I think we woke up a whole hive. More of them.
So the basics of the combat is very simple. You rake up combos by hitting either breaking shields of enemies or by you see these small bars on the health bars. Breaking each of them is gonna give one of the combo meters. Once this meter gets to 10, we can use what they call an instant extract, which basically insta kills a monster. But we want to use that as late as possible since it gives a bonus experience,
That's the last of us.
which we
Did you
will
see their
greatly
frames, Matt?
need
They were all
for this run.
corroded.
Here's going to be the first out of
I don't
bounds.
like it either,
Oh,
but we
where
need
am
to
I?
keep going.
There we go. This is so dark. please. There we go. So yeah, to get there, I use what they call a corner boost. Corner boosting is basically if you dash into a corner and then immediately jump. Oop! I didn't even know there was a collision there. Oh well. Yeah, if you jump into a corner and then dash, it's gonna somehow sometimes reset the jump and dash that you can use. So you can basically infinitely scale up walls and mountains using that.
Watch out.
The main um, the main
Much more intelligent than core bites.
requirement for this trick is to have a geometry corner. That's why it's called a corner boost.
Huh. I'm getting some really weird readings from that power source. I wonder if it's affecting the other bots somehow. That thing has shields. Maybe my charge shot can knock him out.
So in a I'm gonna say normal playthrough of the game, you need to collect about 45 out of the 80 something cores that's available in the game. In the any person speedruns, we're gonna only collect 6 plus one that we get at the end of the dungeon, so 7 is the minimum required to finish the game. Since it gives some extra experience, I'm also gonna collect a few extras, but it's not needed to actually finish the game. And since we're basically skipping through a lot of those cores, we're gonna be skipping on a lot of experience. So there's gonna be just a tad of grinding needed later on into the run to make sure that we have the experience needed to beat the final boss. So what I just collected is one of the prismatic cores from the bosses. So each main dungeon boss or each main story boss has a prismatic core, which we extract at the end once it gets to a certain HP, HP value, whatever.
Yep, there's our crawler. Home sweet home.
I'm gonna go safe here. There we go.
More rogue core bots. Don't let him near the crawler.
So usually in this game, you would need to collect every I'm gonna say every bot, but it's every frame in fact. So Mac is the dog frame, there's a spider frame, there's a tank frame, and there's an ape frame. In the run, we're only gonna get Mac, which is the base one, and Set later on, which is the spider one. The core I just collected would usually need the spider frame, which can climb some walls.
Let's get inside
So by
and see if
getting
this
that
core will
second
turn the
core
power
early,
back
we
on.
can skip one later on. That's usually way slower to get. There's a
on over to the
small
workbench, Mac.
mandatory tutorial of upgrading Max, so we're gonna just do that. When you play this game, for each frame
Done
you
and
can collect blueprints with which you can upgrade your every frame and every bot. For the sake of this run, we won't need any of them,
Okay, Mac.
but when you're
Ready to help
playing
me
this
fix
game,
that
you want to
terraforming
collect
pylon?
as many frames as possible, as it greatly increases the damage, defense, and everything of your bots. And those guys do quite a lot of damage, boosted or not. We're not seeing it here since we're timing RTA, but usually this game is timed with RTA without loads. So we have a load remover, since this game on slower hard drives can take ages to load
Pylon is in the next sector, Mac.
some of
Let's
the
get going.
sections of the game, especially those main sections like that one. You're gonna use another corner boost to get up there. And gonna instant extract this guy with the instant extract we collected earlier by getting a 10 combo. The only reason why we're doing that is because it's free. It's a free 60-something experience, which we need right now.
There's the crawler gate. I'll have to initiate the manual override.
We want to get as many as these as possible. So the game is based off two things mainly. So let's say fight logic, fight mechanics, which is basically charging shots or just shooting straight, as well as using the attacks from your bots. Later on, I can swap bots, and swapping bots will also do some damage. Here it is.
Stay alert, Mac. The core bots in this sector are up too.
You're gonna see that every bot has a different colored frame. What it means is that if you shoot them with the right colored rifle, which I don't have right now for any of them, it's gonna make some extra damage, and each color has a special status effect that it can add or affect to you, depending if you're shooting that color or if it's shooting you with that.
The storm's getting worse. We need to get inside, quick.
So here we're gonna soon enter the first actual dungeon of the game. The first one was merely tutorial, so basically showing you how how a dungeon would be made, but it's technically part of the main map. Whereas this one is really a separate section.
Go. Yes, in we go.
In the game, there's a few different types of dungeon. There are traversal dungeon, which is just like that one, mandatory to progressing into the story. There are also like overworld dungeons that you can do to collect extra cores or get extra experience, for which you usually need to do a small quest or like collect some stuff in order to open that
Hey,
dungeon.
another transfer plate.
We're not
Just
gonna
like the
do
one in our
any
crawler.
of the optional
Let's
dungeon.
check it
We're
out.
just gonna go through the main ones. One small piece of trivia about the game. The collector's edition of the game came with a small wheel that helps you translate what
name is
these
Jewel.
bots
What's
say,
your name?
either in the recordings of the bots that you collect through the game or those dialogues. In the definitive edition, they just plain translated these straight in the game, and therefore we do not have to rely on the wheel anymore. But those dialogues are pure lore stuff, so there's no essential info that it says. You're gonna see me break quite a few of these boxes there. It has a chance of dropping what they call lethals. Lethals are the attacks that I do with the bots. It's the small spheres just under their health bar. Since those are quite powerful attacks, I want to collect as many as possible, and those ones are extras on top of those that already automatically refill. Oops, let's go over there. So, there, we got one there. No, did not grab it. It's okay. Here we're gonna soon grab the first rifle upgrade.
What is it, boy?
So now we can switch between the red firing mode and the white/standard firing mode.
Dash in, Mac. Get him, Mac. Dip in.
to. Sometimes they get automatically, like, I'm gonna say ticked off. Oh, almost got it. It's okay.
There's the core. I just have to
There's a
unlock that
core over
side.
there. That's the super long core that we're gonna skip. Since we got the extra one earlier on. Okay, we're gonna be a bit short on max speed for now. But we're still fine. There's a lot of backup later on.
Take him out, Mac.
You keep that combo for later. When there are boxes like that, you just need to shoot them with the right colored ammo. So naturally, in the traversal dungeons, they're most likely gonna all be with colors that you already have. Although in optional dungeons, there are some that the dungeon is super early into the game, but you will need a color that you get later on in order to get everything in the dungeon.
Let him have it, Mac. Let him have it. Do you hear that? There must be another one of those cores nearby. Set, Mac?
I think it's the first time ever I get that. Usually there's a small, it's not a cutscene really, it's a small dialogue with Mac that tells you that there is something under the ground and the place that you need to dig is hidden until the end of that dialogue. But in some instances, sometimes it just won't disappear, so you will be able to grab, like to dig immediately. So here, as you can see, I collected quite a few of these blue spheres. So the ladles, the small spheres on top of max health bar are completely filled. So I have 6 or 7 ladles right now. Gonna keep these for the boss that's coming up. So now that I have all 3 cores needed to get to the boss, we're gonna use them to enter this door.
The last core we need is inside that thing's head. Dash in, Mac. Rush in. Mac, do it. Target it. The only way we're gonna beat it is to pull out the core. Mac,
Oh, I knew this was gonna happen.
look out, Mac. This core bot can heal itself.
It's okay.
That one, Mac.
Worst case, killing these mobs there is just extra experience for later. It's not much, but it's gonna help at the end. But it could have been a nice quick kill for the boss. If I hadn't got hit. There we go.
Pixel.
Yep.
I'm just gonna pause you for a minute. Do you guys hear him well? Or does the music in general just muff out what he's saying? You can hear him? Okay, his game is too loud? Okay.
Just tell me, guys, when it's okay. So So right after the boss, I did another of these corner jumps to get to another core early. So right now, instead of exiting this place with 4 cores, we're gonna have 5 already. So we only need one more to get to the next door, which we're gonna grab just outside of this place. After that, we won't actually need any of them to finish the game.
All systems go. The pylon's up and running. Let's head outside and take a look.
So here Violet's gonna explain what they call transfer plates. Transfer plates are just fast travel points, basically. We're not gonna use them much in the run, but since it's an open world-ish game, it's very useful to travel to like optional dungeons and go back to places where you've been before instead of going through the huge desert with basically nothing in it. At least nothing interesting once you're done with pretty much everything. So that's the first dungeon done. One particularity about this dungeon was that before entering it, you remember there was like a sandstorm, but activating the pylon cleared out the sandstorm, which opened up the entire area for exploration and whatever is needed to continue.
Do you think they called the robot Darude for that section?
Maybe they should have.
This sector is filled with ReCore bots, Mac. Before we go much further, we should head back to our
Quick
crawlers
fun
and
fact for you
spare
guys.
parts.
Did you know that Keiji Inafune helped for the production of that game? He's the guy behind Mega Man, and there's a bit of Metroid also going into this conception. So you'll notice that the main character using different colors of weapons and the whole dash and jumping is all inspired from Mega Man.
I didn't even know he worked on the Mega Man series. Today I learned.
You've got a Mega Man fan doing the commentaries.
I
That
know,
helps.
right? Come on.
So Pixel,
Yep.
what are the weaknesses according to the colors?
It's its own color, basically. There are some of these that are I'm gonna say multicolored, but for example, they're green or purple or whatever, and their weakness is basically both the colors that compose whatever color they are. And they can usually switch between their combo color or any individual color to use abilities specific to that, and I'm gonna say narrow their weakness to that color. And there are a few, not a lot, but there's just a few enemies that cannot be hit if you do not use the right color. They call them chrome enemies, and they just reflect any projectile that's not their color. Whereas the others can be damage and all. Come on, just there we go. So our 6th core is just here.
Here, Mac. Take a look around.
So prismatic cores, there's a few types of them. That one is when we dig, just like inside the last dungeon. There are some that you need to complete certain, I'm gonna say, missions. So collect that many things to open a door, kill that monster. That's gonna unblock this section, or just simply kill one of these boss monsters that are prismatic cores. For the sake of this run, this is basically one of the last cores we're gonna get, or at least it's the last one that we need to get through with the game.
Just a quick mention for those that are not in chat right now. We've had confirmation from Joey that his run was a new PB/world record by about 2 minutes. So
Wow.
congrats, Joey.
Congrats, Joey. That's amazing. Is that the first world record in this marathon?
I think it is
Nice.
for DreamHack Montreal 2018.
Yep.
If there's been another one, I missed it.
Same. Congrats, man. So next up is gonna be the Cradle. Cradle is, I'm gonna say, I was about to say one of the longest overworld parts. Those last two were quite quick. In that one, we're gonna get the second bot. It's not mandatory to get the second bot in order to finish the game, but the added damage output is easily worth it for the time it takes to get it. And anyways, with all the combat we do to get it, it gives us experience that we would need at the end anyways. But there's a low person category, which is basically a what I call a survival person, because you do not get that extra DPS and that extra bot, nor any of the additional health segment that we get in the any percent run. Here I'm going on top of that structure in order to skip a cutscene. Usually when you get down there, you have a cutscene showing you basically what to do. So it says you need to cross that bridge, blah blah blah. In order to do that, you need to collect blah blah blah. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to go straight where we need to go and use a few corner boosts to get up there. Oops, the other side. Gotta be careful of some holes in the geometry. Ooh, not side, not that one. There we go. Wow! Gotta be careful there. If I fall there, I just fall all the way down of all the jumps I just did. It's not a big deal, but you know, in a speedrun, you don't want to lose too much time.
We made it, Mac.
Here, I could have used my instant extract there, although I'm gonna need it for a mob just a bit later. That's a bit tougher than these two. I'm gonna be going usually for the yellow monsters first. The main reason for that, why is that one up there? Anyways, main reason for that is that the yellow ones regenerate if you do not kill them fast enough. It's like one of their special abilities. Here we're gonna use a few more, a few more of these corner boosts. If the game lets us do them. Why? Okay, that was weird. I'm just gonna skip that if it doesn't work. As you can see, this thing can be quite tricky sometimes. Just won't work. The timing for that is quite tight, surprisingly. Especially when there's enemies trying to kill you at the same time. You're gonna see once I get up there, it's almost for nothing. That's the worst part of that. Oh my god, please. Okay. Why doesn't it work? had it super consistent like 5 seconds ago. Okay, too bad. Let's just keep going. I think I can use that one anyways. What's happening with me? Okay. We're just gonna have to be way more careful with our health. It's no that big of a deal. Might grab it with the other bot just in case. Since we're in the marathon run, we don't want to die for no reason. That was probably a huge time loss trying to get up there.
Hang on. Another crawler.
So here, it's, as she said, it's another crawler. Crawler is basically like the HQ
I hear
of
you, Kai. Go ahead.
people going there, like where they had their that cryogenic sleep that Mr. Freshlander was referring to earlier. Oh, so we're gonna go back there. So there's surprisingly another human in that other crawler. So this human is gonna help us through the rest of our quest,
This must be the place.
at least for most of what's
Hey,
left.
Kai, we're here.
Most importantly, he's gonna give us the last bot that we need. I was a bit too fast killing these. There. This should be fine.
Right, Mac.
There we go. That should work. There we go. So we broke it. There we go. The only reason why I did that is that killing that bot that's gonna come out, can take quite a while. So we're just gonna instant extract him. So we're gonna have both the its core, which is gonna give us basically credits to upgrade the Mac later, and extra
Want
experience.
the green ones. Search.
Then we're gonna dig up a second one, but we don't have any instant extract, so we're just gonna kill it normally. So that's an example of those mixed color bots.
Go get 'em. That's the last part we need. Let's get him back to Kai. Mac, dig in. Violet, I got places
So
to
we're
go.
just gonna get back to that crawler. There it is. So he's gonna give us the second bot, so the spider Seth, which is gonna help us with the DPS. Seth can climb those tracks that you see all over the world. So they're basically like railroad tracks, but on the walls and floor and ceilings. Like I said, just to be safe, I'm gonna make a super small detour to get that extra health that I was talking about.
To get to the core foundry, you'll need to go up and over the quarry pit. Good news? Seth is a terrific climber. Bad news? He's afraid of heights.
Aw. Come on, Seth. We'll do it together.
Should I kill that guy again since we're gonna miss on some experience? Maybe. Let's go.
Take him out, Seth. Dash in, Mac. Seth, go get him. Over there. That one. Over there. Do it. Mac, over there. Go get him.
See, that's the reason why I instant extracted him earlier. He can take quite a while to kill, normally. So that's
Come here, buddy.
an example of those tracks. So I'm gonna do that the intended way. I think it's the first time I get this health piece, the intended way. So it's just there. Around there. There we go. Again, the main reason why I take that is to simply try not to die near the end of the game where pretty much everything one-shots you. Or almost one-shots you. So that extra 10% HP can help a lot to make the difference between you're dead and you're almost dead and your HP is gonna regenerate. So here, that's one of the extra cores I was talking about. Again, the only reason why I take it is for the 50 experience extra. I don't actually need it to finish the game. Is that gonna make it? I think it will. There we go. So usually you need to go all the way around with Set, do that funky platforming thing in the air. Since we done that jump, we don't need to go all the way around and do that. It looks like a tight jump, but it's not that bad really, compared to some others later on. So this is the next traversal dungeon. So after that, it's gonna be another main section, like main area of the outer world, the overworld. Talking is hard, you know.
Sounds good. Mac, Seth, let's go. Toes, here we go.
So that's where you see the quite big difference between having only one bot and two. So first of all, both are refilling their lethals in the background. So even if it's not out, it's still recharging its attacks. Also, when swapping out, it does some area of effect damage. That helps a lot when there are quite a few clumped enemies around.
Little guy must be around here somewhere. Hi, I'm in some kind of crush pit.
So, fun trivia here. This is the place where the corner boost has been discovered first. For a long time, we thought that this trick was only possible in this room, and then we just randomly started trying it somewhere else for the sake of it, and we just realized that it was working everywhere. So that basically changed the face of any person from then.
Core bites are in attack mode.
That was close, but we got it. There we go.
Fire.
Must be the forge. Mac and Seth should be fine. The plans are really high level. But you,
Got it. Don't go touch the fire. Get him.
There should be a bigger red coming up. There we go.
Go get him, Mac. Let her rip. Let him have it, Seth. Over there. Mac, charge.
We're gonna use the fact that the guy got up there and
Go get him.
get some sweet AoE damage.
Go get him.
go.
I think we found the analyzer. Big
So
ring
this
and a
is the
big
first dungeon so far that we're gonna completely destroy. You're gonna see pretty soon what I mean. So there's this dungeon and the next one, and also some of the final one, all have out of bounds that lets us skip a huge part of it. Come on, there we go. Now spawn this guy. Sometimes some of these smaller bots can trap your main bot. So you really want to kill these as fast as possible, because they can be quite annoying. And they prevent you from doing any damage with your bot.
yellow ammunition upgrade. Nice. Fire. Give it to him.
Here, there should be that one left and one up there. Hello? Oh, there it is. It was hidden by the wall.
Hi, I'm in the incubation chamber.
Just spawn the other one. There we go. Instant extract that one.
Most of the cores are gone. This whole place looks torn apart.
So the devs were quite kind with us for some parts of this game, and one thing that they did was add a huge hole here to let us go out of bounds. Fun fact, even though some of these were, some of the glitches were patched in the definitive edition, this out of bounds is one of the things that wasn't patched, even though it was like clearly visible and that anyone could do it. Oh, I hate when this happens. Can I like deload the area? Nope. Okay, I guess. Hasn't happened for so long. There's no way I can get there. Nope. I don't even know where it's gonna respawn me. Okay, I respawned just there. It's all fine. Yeah, sometimes when you do out of bounds like that, or even with normal playthrough, sometimes the next part of the dungeon is not gonna load for whatever reason. It might be that it's unable to unload the previous part or something like that. But it can get quite annoying. Oh, I was so close to get a 10 combo there. It's fine. So coming up is gonna be the arguably the hardest boss in the game, for both casual and speedrun playthroughs. The reason for that being, in a casual playthrough, it spawns a lot of mobs, which prevents you from damaging the boss since you're so busy with killing the mobs. If you don't kill them, then you're gonna just get killed by any of them. Uh, in When doing the speedrun, it's not really a quick kill, but there's a phase skip possible. So if for each HP bar that it has, it's linked to a phase of the boss. So if you can get through a bar really quickly, it's just gonna despawn every single mob that usually appears for this wave. Just switch mobs, there we go. The thing is, we're still gonna get chased by any one of them. So I might get killed anytime, especially if these guys are trapped. It's okay. Could have gone a lot better, so I'd rather just have a quicker kill there than keeping up with that slower kill.
A tram rail. This must be the place. Yeah, Mac. It's quite a view. The tram must be at the E-Tower. This console should call it back. Alright, now we wait.
So basically killing it fast is as hard as killing it quickly, so we just try and kill it quickly anyways. So it's gonna be white colored. Don't hit the mobs. There we go, that's one phase down. So that's the last one before extracting it, so it's the only phase where I'm gonna kill the ads, just so it doesn't prevent me from actually finishing off the boss. Unless it refills because my bot decided to attack it. There we go. Oh, please, please. Oh, there we go. Got it. That was close. If that white line would have hit me, I would have, it would have just canceled the extract, and I would have needed to redo the last phase. Since it then shields and refills like a quarter or a bit more than of its HP. So basically, we're trying to get to what they call the E-Tower, the Eden Tower, and this tower is like the base of all the prismatic cores and the energy of the world. So by getting there, it's gonna help us find out what is actually going on and why the bots are acting all like crazy. But this tram rail got sadly destroyed, so we need to get to another area in order to again try and get to the tower.
Come on, guys. Let's head to the E-Tower.
If we knew
So this is like the big quote-unquote leveling slash grinding section. Okay, all I wanted was that 10 combo. Oh no! What happens with the dash mechanic, if you start a dash while you're already in the air, then you won't get a second one. But sometimes you're so close to the edge that the standard dash that you want to start counts as one that's in air. So you then don't get a second one, and there's no like visual indication that you did not get the other. But we're fine. There we go. So we need that instant extract to kill that purple bot. That's gonna give us a lot of experience. That was so close. One more hit and I was dead. So here we're going there to get to the next section. Fun fact, when I first played this game, a bit after it came out, I casually went there because I was just exploring like where we could climb and everything with no intention to speedrun or to skip anything. And afterwards I was wondering why there's some stuff I wasn't able to do. And doing that is basically a sequence break that's super easy to do and that lets you skip one of the bots that you need to get. At least for this section. Another nice thing about being able to switch bots is that it spawns where you're targeting. So instead of having to run over there, you can just straight kill it like that. Not straight kill it, but have your bot start attacking before you get there. Come on. There we go. We're gonna skip these two. I think we're fine. They're already there, so let's just kill them. Just gotta be careful of these small guys there, as they can be very annoying. And also that looks like we got wrecked. It's fine. It's all fine. I just wonder where I'll get spawned. Okay, sure, I'll take that. Blue. There we go. Dogs. The dogs are basically the glass cannon of the game. So they're very easy to kill, but they can also kill you very quickly. So for experience sake, you want to kill as many as these as possible. Let's try instant extract that one. That should do it. Or not? Come on. There we go.
Up there. That must be the entrance.
So this is the first dungeon that we actually don't have enough cores to enter. I think it requires 12 or 15 cores, but we only have 8, 9, something like that. Come on, there we go. So, we're gonna try and go out of bounds. But there's something preventing us from going out of bounds called the radiation. And that's basically their way of telling us you shouldn't go there. So, I'm just gonna try to line here. I might have waited a bit too much, yep. The timing for that is quite tight. So it might take me a few tries, but it's gonna say it saves so much time over collecting the cores that no matter how many tries it takes, it's still gonna be way faster than going around and collecting, like, what is it, 6 extra cores, I think. So once the radiation bar gets to the top, it starts depleting your HP a certain percentage per second. 1, 2, go. We should be fine now. No! Wow. I was sure this was it. Oops. So, come on. There we go. No! I think I'm letting go of the dash just a tad too early. It usually doesn't take that many tries. Usually in 2 tries you get it. It's merely a timing thing. There. Come on, come on. It doesn't dash early enough now. Now that we have some time though, I'm gonna give a shout out to Brassmaster, who's basically the first man to route and run this game at least like more than once with a speedrun perspective. He found a lot of strats that we still use today in the speedrun. And he's one of the only runners who did also the post-definitive edition speedruns. Oh my god, what's happening?
Come on, guys. We gotta clap. We gotta keep him motivated.
There we go. Oh, we got some extra damage here. We're gonna have to wait for our health to refill here. There we go, I think that worked. There we go. We're finally out of here. So by going there, the only reason why I went there is that up until Definitive Edition, which removed that glitch, all the dungeon loading zones are behind the doors. So you don't have to actually open the door to get into the dungeon as long as you can just get there. In the Definitive Edition, they removed those loading zones and added a condition that the door needs to be opened. So that made the any person run a lot less interesting, as we need a lot more cores. So here, we don't have no time to do this dungeon. Usually in this dungeon, that's where you would get the fourth core bot, not core bot, but I'm gonna say core buddy or robot buddy, the flyer. The flyer is super interesting for 81 or 82 core speedruns, as it has that interesting property of being able to, oh shoot, we soft-locked. So we're just gonna fall forever here, which is super amazing. The thing is, what happened, I'm gonna explain while I restart the game. When you trigger a cutscene, it disables everything around, and by getting to that specific spot, I triggered the boss cutscene. So any like that trigger or anything was just plain disabled. So I would just fall. I would just fall forever without never hitting any like at least visible floor. Just gonna get back into the game. It's saved at the very beginning of the dungeon, so we don't need to redo the skip to get into the dungeon. And even if we did, we got a fast travel point inside, so we're safe for that at least. I just need to redo the skip inside the dungeon. So yeah, what I was saying before is that yeah, the flyer frame can clip pretty much everywhere in the game, which makes it a nice candidate for being able to skip all the prerequisite for. We should be fine now. Oof, that was close.
Try and stop us, but it's
So now it's gonna spawn me right inside there. If I don't get hit, then I can escape this boss room here by going out of bounds again. If I don't do some dumb stuff like that. One nice thing though is by going out of bounds like that, if it works, since we're not supposed to go out of bounds in this fight, it's gonna reset the door back there. Not that one, but the one that opens after you kill the boss. So I don't even have to go out of bounds anymore. I can just go through that door that would be locked usually and finish the dungeon. So it's a very, very minor time loss to fall there. Usually I would have gone around, then under the floor, then triggered the door from under the floor. So we're getting into, I'm not gonna say the home stretch, since it's quite a long home stretch.
let's hope Victor isn't watching this approach.
All that's left is the final dungeon. The final dungeon is the Eden Tower. The Eden Tower is composed of 5 platforming and fight floors, with the final boss at the end. You might have heard of this game around the time when it came out, and did not see. I'm just gonna say that the reviews were average, to not say bad. because the game is in its initial state was basically unplayable. You would fall through the floor pretty much anywhere without any visible like hole in collisions. It would crash and it at any time. It was just basically released way too early. Though all after the third patch, which is the one that I'm running on, it got a lot better. So what I did there, by the way, while I'm trying to get under this floor, was skipping the first half, I'm gonna say, of the final boss. Usually you would need to be level 18 by there to go against the final boss for the first time. I'm starting to have trouble with this skip. Come on. All I need to do is to trigger that door. There we go. So basically the door loading zone, again, is behind the door that we cannot open, and it extends all the way down. So we use that to just trigger it without having, and of course,
Victor. What has he done to the E-Tower? This
so
can't be its
Victor,
original
the one
design.
who's talking with that super deep voice, is the final boss of the game. No surprise, he just like threatens you all the way along, both in the tower and outside. He's the one who took over all the other, like I'm gonna say, mining bots and turned them into war things. So he's a bad guy. Let's just put it that way. There we go. The platforming in that is quite straightforward. There's nothing special to say about it. There's some sections where there are gonna be like blue circles. Those refill both your dash and jumps, so you can chain them a lot more to cover bigger gaps. On every floor there are 2 or 3 of these fight sections. They are usually mandatory to progress, although we can skip them when needed by going around. I'm gonna use that for a few of them, although I need that experience that some of these fights give. But I'm gonna have to skip some of them simply because I'm not high level enough to kill every enemy on that floor, on that fight section. There we go. Was just waiting for that one to spawn. Level 13 there is just a tad low, so we're gonna do the safer fight at the end. Make sure that we have enough experience. Come on. There. This seems like a nice place to make an instant extract. Basically killing everything that's left. Nice thing about its instant extract is it doesn't only kill the mob in front of you, it also does some nice AoE damage on every mob around. Even though it's not like very close, it's still gonna kill them. Hello? Did we successfully like soft log the fight? For real? Nice. This has never happened before. Now for real, I think it's never happened. At least to me. So I'm just gonna restart the fight there. It's not that big of a deal. It's sad that I'm losing the experience and time for that. But
Take the shot.
there are some things that we do not have any control over, just like that. Come on, there we we go. I think that killing them all at the same time made the game confused or something. Since dying resets to the last checkpoint, that's why we got level 13 again. You do not keep your experience normally when you die. When you go out of bounds and respawn though, like a death by a death floor, it doesn't count as an actual death, so you respawn and keep all your experience. I almost kept that combo up. Would have been nice. Small reminder, then I'm level 13 right now, and the mob I just killed was level 19. The biggest experience gap you can have with level gap you can have with a monster is 7 levels. After that, it's just you cannot even damage it. It won't let you. It's gonna have that skull icon on top of its head, and you won't be able to damage it at all. So that's why we need level 18 to get to the final boss, since the final boss is level 25. So that's the second fight of the first floor. Don't worry, we're not doing all of them. Gonna kill that chrome one, since it can be quite annoying. Level 14. Levels up pretty quickly during these fights, since it's a nice concentration of mobs and a nice set of combo you can make on them. So that's one of these chrome boys I was talking to you about earlier. I might die there. I got pretty much locked in these flames. Each time I get hit by these, I get stunned, but when there are 2 waves of flames at once, there's basically nothing I can do. There we go. That seems a lot better now. They're clumped up, so I can just hit all of them at once. Unless this happens. Wow. I targeted the wrong one. It's fine. got to 10. Safe to extract that one. For some reason, the lethals, like the attacks of our robots, can occasionally affect the chrome bots. I don't understand why it works, but it does, as it's supposed to be immune to any other color. There we go. That was the last one. So here, we have a closed door. We're supposed to have, I think, 20 or 25 cores at this point. But we don't have that, we still only have that 8 or 9 that we had earlier. So we're gonna go around this door, hope for the best. There we go. Out of bounds and then behind the door. Again, hitting the loading zone that you would get there by opening the door normally. Floor 2. Floor 2 is interesting because we skip the second fight and the first fight is quite unique. You'll see why in a second. Okay, maybe more than a second. Just give me the time to get there. You have an example of these blue circles I was referring to earlier. These refill a dash and your both your jumps. Oh, okay, got it. So we're getting to that first fight in just a second, and the second one, we're gonna try and skip it using the trick. The second one is one of these that can be used as a backup, so if I do not get the skip, instead of restarting the entire floor, I'm gonna just beat it normally and skip another fight later on if I have enough experience. So here, I said it was gonna be a bit interesting. What's happening here is that these corner things spawn little mobs. That makes you rake a 10 combo very easily, so you can just instant extract everything that then spawns. Oops, I hit that thing since I was frozen there. We're lucky that there's 3 of them. We gotta be very careful because the spawn things in the corners are very fragile. So if you mistakenly hit them instead of hitting a bug, you're gonna just destroy them and you won't have enough bugs to do the instant extract, and the fight is gonna be very, very, very long. Come on, just target the right one. There we go. As set is level 15, I think I'm already level 15 also, which is great. There you are. I think there's 8 or 9 like that. There we go. I think there's like 1 or 2 more. There we go. There we go. So here we're gonna try and skip it. We get here on that corner. No, we missed it, sadly. Try and see if I can reset it. Let's see. Don't think so. No. Okay, it's fine. We're just gonna do it. Doesn't take too long. The reason why we do not do it usually is that it's very, very punishing. Lots of mobs that does lots of damage, and there's these bombs near the floor that if you do not move enough, it's just gonna pretty much one-shot you or freeze you, so you then get killed very quickly. This has the instant extract. I'm gonna use it. There's third one too. So that's one of these bombs that you need to take care of. Be careful of. The spot where we start is way safer than the rest. Surprisingly, it's not that bad to fall there because it just respawns you exactly at where you were. But dying though is a whole another thing. That you do not want to die here. Okay. This is kind of dangerous, especially with that guy shooting us at the same time. A random bomb hit me. I think that was the last mob. That's unfortunate. No, that's a bad idea. That's a very, very bad idea I just had there. If you try to use an instant extract when you don't have the instant extract, it's gonna try and fail to extract anything. So you then will get stunned and most likely get killed. Next one is gonna spawn there. There's gonna be 2 more just behind. There we go. There we go. Okay. So now you see why you usually would skip that fight. It's quite risky. It's not very rewarding. It's just overall not worth it. It's not that it's not possible. Some of them are just plain impossible because you do not have the required experience for it. I think there's one that would require level 19 or something like that, which we don't even get in the run at all. Oh my god. What's happening? Oh, that's a nice spot to be. And for some reason, the bombs are not spawning this time around. I'll try not to jinx it, but that's amazing if they do not spawn. Makes the fight actually possible. Or at least way easier. As I talked about these bombs, I thought just and the fight was over. Oh my god. I think yeah, it was over. For some reason this flying enemy is mandatory. It's not mandatory, it's optional. As long as it doesn't hit you before the checkpoint, you're fine. So that was a very slow floor too, but still we got some extra experience. Let's see. End of level 16. So end of floor 2, a small detour we're gonna make is going back to the crawler. At the end of floor 2 we get this like a fast travel point, so there's no worries, we don't have to redo it. So we're gonna upgrade max attack to the maximum. We have way enough of these energy powered things, the red, like let's say not money but energy power, to max out Mac. Since this takes like a minute, we won't do that for both bots, but Max, since it already has the highest usefulness, it has a nice damage output, we're gonna max that one at least. And that like 45 seconds to a minute loss to maxing it out is easily worth it just in the final fight because of the added damage output. There we go. So here we're gonna get to the fast travel point, get back to the tower here. And then get back to the end of floor 2. Floor 3 is gonna be an interesting one. It has one of the, if not the hardest skip of the entire run. So let's hope it goes better than the last one. Interesting thing about this trick that's gonna be coming up is that the feasibility of the trick is kind of frame rate dependent. The highest the frame rate is, the farther you can actually jump with the jump dash. But the difference is very, very minimal, and at 30 or well, at less than 60 FPS, it's very, very hard to pull off, if not frame and angle perfect. I think I pulled it off twice in about 100 tries. But when you're at or over 60 FPS, it gets a bit easier to achieve. So it's still very, very hard of a trick, but it's way more consistent with the higher FPS. No, barely missed it. So basically we go out of bounds, and the other floor 3 is the only floor where the exit is close to the entrance, or at least that close. So we are able to get to the other side and basically finish the floor without going through any of it. Since doing a floor, even with skipping the fights, takes over 5 minutes, and doing one attempt of that takes like 45 seconds, it's definitely worth it to go for it, even though do not get it first try. There we go. Now we're gonna get back in bounds, or ish, soon. Since we're already out of bounds anyways, we're gonna use that small platform here. Small platform, please. To get to the exact same spot that we would get by going around that door. So that was floor 3. And usually going in floor, well, in the casual run, or even in a speed run, if you miss the fight skips, floor 3 is the most annoying floor of all, just because of the fights. Because it has the property that every single of the fights, it has 3 fights, and all 3 of them has radiations, the thing that just depletes your HP over time while you're fighting mobs. So there's basically no HP regen at all in floor 3. Unless you instant extract like crazy. Here you can see the extra damage output that Max had when maxed out. Helps so much with damaging those bigger monsters. Careful there. Aw, come on. Okay. I was just about to say I'm gonna extract to get some HP back, but I guess this guy wanted the hug. level 17. I wonder if I can get to 18 before the end of that. Not this specific fight, but this specific floor, please. So those big balls up there, they spawn those smaller, very annoying mobs. The smaller mobs are very nice to start comboing on them, but they're very annoying when you're trying to fight something else. So I'm gonna try to destroy that ball as I'm killing the other mobs, or else that kind of thing happens. Oh, okay. Not taking any risk this time, just gonna instant extract that, destroy that ball with the instant extract at the same time. Let's hope the fight is not locked because of the extract. There we go. Okay, it's not. Come on, Mac. There we go. Good boy. Means that the red one is close by. That's very dangerous. Just as I thought. What's with me and fights today? No, okay. Won't take any risk again. Can I destroy that thing early? Would be nice. There we go. That's gonna refill some HP. This is gonna hit the thing in the middle. There we go. Won't take any risk. Those white spheres can be tricky. You need to shoot them, and if you shoot them too early, they're gonna regenerate super fast. So you really wanted to shoot them just before you get there. is it? There it is.
Dash in, Mac. Get him. Out. Let us have it, Mac.
Oops, that can be dangerous, so I'm just gonna extract as soon as I can. Oh my god, please. I'm stunned. There we go.
Mac, charge. Done it.
There should be, I think, 1 or 2 more waves on that fight. I think there's a big one after that. There we go, we're level 18, loving it. So if we're successful, we're gonna try and skip the entirety of floor 5 fight-wise. So we're still gonna do the platforming, but won't do any of the fighting there. Oh, for real. That region thing is so annoying. There we go. And Set is also level 18, so we have everything we need to get to the final boss, except from getting there. No! I was sure I had that upper one. My bad. Go safe and take the bottom one. Here we're gonna wait for that ride and then we're done with floor 4. As I said, there's 5 floors. And the 6th one being the final boss. So if we manage to skip all the fights, we should still be still safe under estimate. I wasn't expecting these to be that tricky today, but I guess that's what it is. Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't get pushed down like that. So let's cross our fingers for a successful skip here. Still not over. Okay, got it. So that was one. We have 2 more like that to do. So getting to the checkpoint after the fight just makes the fight It's not that it doesn't appear, because if you get hit by a mob, you still get spawned in the fight if you haven't hit the checkpoint. But at least the checkpoints makes you safe from having to do that fight if ever one of these mobs was to hit you. Well, that wasn't a good idea at all. Okay, still got it. So that's some nice jumping rope there. As you can see, I wasn't very good at the jumping ropes back then. Still not very good today. But we're fine. There we go. So let's hope for the second fight skip. Could have made it very safe and not trigger the checkpoint at the very beginning. Okay, I think we're fine. Yep, we're perfectly fine for that one. So there's one more fight to skip. The sad thing about it is that it's the most important one to skip. So if I miss the third skip, I need to redo the entire floor, as one of the mobs there is way too high level for me to defeat. Yeah, there's a random mob that's higher level than the final boss. Gonna try to see if I can not trigger that. I think it's still gonna trigger it, so let's go there. Okay, didn't get hit. There we go. So we got all 3 fight skips, which means all that's left to do is get to that final floor and final boss. And let's not forget that there's usually a requirement of, I think, 40 or 50 cores, somewhere around that, to get through that door.
Or even worse up here. I don't know how much more this tower can take. Look, that must be the prime core. Let's get it powered up. Quick.
So final boss, it's basically just a grind, at least for the first phase. So first phase is very simple. He's gonna just walk around us trying to hit us, but since we're faster, we're just gonna keep hitting him like that. As soon as I hit the first like check into the health bar, it's gonna get into one of the next phases. It has a phase at least for each of the let's say like bot frames, and then it keeps rotating between these. Come on. Okay. While he's in this ball form between the phases, he's vulnerable way more to the overall damage. This can be dangerous, so... Oh, nice. We got one of these early. That's basically free damage on the boss. I think this has skipped maybe one phase. Oh, this shield thing can be quite dangerous too. And so are these small blue mobs. They're basically the same as the small yellow ones. And why I say they are annoying is that there's only one way of killing them and it is shooting them until they hit a floor or a wall. And sometimes they're very, very far from that. Here, I'm gonna have a major lag right there. If I hadn't skipped over that barrier, everything would have gone black and white. Which means I wouldn't have been able to see. Oh man, I was almost done. It's fine. It's fine. Yep. Thanks everyone. In that phase, if you get hit by that and then you are all black and white, every damage that doesn't match the color of a mob basically won't count. So you have to hit it with one bullet of each color to see what color it is, since you only seen black and white, and you're gonna get back the color as you kill all of them. So it can be very annoying. That's why we jump over that, or at least we try to jump over that barrier with all that lag. Come on. Come on, Matt. Come on, come on. Come on, Matt. Come on. Okay, at least one there. That was a very nice burst of damage there. Sorry if I'm not talking much, just trying to concentrate on not dying again. Oh, nice. Switch, switch, switch. There we go. Since they're near the floor, I'm gonna try and kill these two. There we go. There we go. Time. Sorry about that. Time. I wasn't expecting the final like HP bar to be this quick. Otherwise, I would have asked for time earlier. Hey, hi, couch boy.
Quick
On
question,
the main screen. Yep.
Pixel.
Yep.
We noticed that you were using specific colors during the boss fight.
Yep.
But the HP bar was remaining white. Was there a reason for that?
Well, it still does more damage by using the matching color. Probably because it's a boss, or at least a final boss. But I know that the damage changes, the damage values we tested them, and it does change. But yeah, the color of the bar might not change by itself. And also, sometimes we can use non-matching colors, for example, red, to get the fire effect, which is going to get some damage over time done, which can be useful in certain circumstances.
All right.
So, yeah. Only thing after the credits is the in-game time, which I don't think we really care about in this case. So...
One last question
Yeah.
before you finish this up.
Yeah. Let's go.
If somebody wants to run that game, if ever they go out and buy the retail copy, should they fetch an original ReCore, or can they buy the DE edition?
Well, there are runs, as I said, Brass has done runs of the DE edition before. I think his time is a 148 after removing loads, whereas the world record pre-D is 122 for any percent. D is very nice because of the tank that goes super fast, the extra core, so 100% is like longer. If one wants to run pretty sadly, I guess, the only way of doing it currently without already having a pre-D copy installed on your PC that you didn't update would be to, as you said, buy a retail copy of the Xbox version, since it did not came out retail for PC, and play the day one edition of the game, so the pre-patch one, with the holes on the floors and the longer loads and like some of other things. But I think that the Xbox version / the original version hasn't been dug around enough for us to really say that it's slower, because for example, these holes on the floor might make something way faster than we do it currently, and levels near the end might be a bit different. We really did not dig up too much into it, since it's pretty much a universal saying that the third patch, which is October 2016 or 17 patch, is considered as the fastest one right now.
So guys, if you want to run it on Xbox, or Xbone as people call it, Xbox One, you're going to have to find the original retail copy, not the